All right, good morning, everybody. Sorry, I started the stream. I had to sneeze immediately. Welcome, everyone. Stock market gapping a little bit lower this morning, so I think we did a similar thing yesterday. Not saying we're going to close higher, but anytime the stock market gaps lower or closes higher is actually a good day. And in a bull market, in an uptrending market, you see that fairly often. It's almost kind of a rule that if it gaps lower, you're probably going to fill that gap. And right now we're aiming for a small gap lower, maybe about a 0.5% or so. Not saying we're definitely going to close higher, but we did that yesterday and haven't really done that super often. As of late, we gap lower here and move lower, gap lower, move lower. So, we talked about a little bit of change in behavior. What's up, Nighthawk and Justin? How you guys doing? Had quite a few days in a row. Volume's been not increasing, but it's been fairly steady and not in super low levels. It's been low-ish, though. So let's kind of keep things in perspective here. So that's been our average volume. Pretty average for, excuse me, some of these upward trending markets we've been in here and here and here. Doesn't mean it's going to fail, but we're also bumping right up against the 50-day. We talked about that becoming resistance, and so we're right there right now. Spent more time up here than we have in the past. Last time we touched here was only a spike up for one day. So far, we are basing slightly to go through that, so that's fairly positive, but that's only a one-day base, which was yesterday. We'll have to see what today brings. Today is also Friday, so a lot of weird stuff could happen on a Friday. Institutions tend to be more aggressive with their purchases and sales on Fridays as well, so we'll see how that plays out today. All right, let's see what IBD's got to say. Tilray soars. Let's go see that. So here's the IBD news articles. We got stock futures slip, Netflix jumps, cannabis stock spikes, marijuana stocks spikes right there too. Key shareholder said it would maintain its position, so that's good. Netflix stock power to an early lead among FANG stocks after an upgrade. I mean, we talked about them a couple weeks now. Chips exit bear market. That's always good. Chips leading is always good. Anytime the chip sector leads, also known as semiconductors, that's always a good thing. Hold on a second here. Looks like a big headline at the bottom there. Netflix set to clear its 200-day line. So it looks like it cleared its 50 pretty nicely. So that's good. And hopefully get above its 200-day line. If Netflix is an early leader, they really shouldn't be, thrown in with the tech stocks in terms of things. I mean, they are tech, but I don't know. We had this conversation a couple the other day with Eli. Talking about if Facebook wasn't tech. He said Facebook is tech. I'm like, yeah, I guess it could be tech. But Netflix really just puts out a singular product versus where Facebook has multiple products. So Netflix tech, anyway, I don't want to get into that conversation. Historical PE for NVIDIA is 12 and it's currently at 19 or something like that. Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't do a whole lot with historical PEs and current valuations. Nvidia kind of got the bump with the cryptocurrency market. That could be why they got bumped up to 19, or I guess maybe it was 30 before the market crashed. So as far as where it's at now, I'm not quite sure. I guess I really do nothing with PE valuation. I kind of know Apple's is extremely cheap for how fast the company grows, but it's still the biggest stock in the world. Well, I guess now the second biggest stock in the world or whatever it is. But it's about all I really know about PE ratios in a lot of these. S&P's is 14 typically, 12 to 14. They wanted me to moderate that. That was weird. Zacks.com. Okay. Oil prices slip after a 5-day rally. Tilray gets voted confidence up 15% pre-market. And it looks like the market's going to open here really quick. At 35 seconds. Let's see what's going to happen here. So Tilray moving up is good. Let's got to see if the other MJ stocks do as well. That looks like a specific to Tilray, so if they're moving 15, maybe CGC will get a few percent bump. We'll see. 0.5% lower this morning on the open. And it looks like yesterday we back and filled some, and then came back nice and strong. So that's nice. Netflix up a whopping 2%. MMNFF joining them up there also at about 2%. MJ up 1%. I'm not sure if I have CGC up here. Maybe I don't. I thought I did. Looks like I do. Anyway, they're not up here. But MJ up 1%. It goes, MJ's been getting a little bit healthier lately. It's been on a very steady climb out of these lows. No basing whatsoever. Yesterday it actually had a high-ish volume candle on a pretty decent update, which I'm fairly pleased with. Looks like it's above its couple of these moving averages, 10-day, 50-day. And yesterday, see the elevated volume above the 50-day. And the same day before as well. But yes, the day before yesterday was the first day it closed above the 50-day. And then yesterday with the follow-through. So far so good with a little bit of a recovery here. V-bottoms are always a little bit strange for me. I'm not a big fan of them, but I'll take it. I'll take it if it works. Although last time we got really elevated volumes here, you see it started to falter here. But that was here at the 50-day. And so far we've closed above that. So that's actually pretty good in MJ. THRM, Lilly, Race, Baba. So pretty red days so far. VMW down 1.6. Could be a good time to maybe buy some names like VMW that have broken out if they're pulling back a little bit. If you're looking for these names, 1.6 all the way down here. We haven't seen this price in a few days. So just over the breakout point. Nice little pullback. Could be picking up VMW right there. Twitter down 1%. It's also been kind of on a little mini run. I got Square down 0.72. Square's actually been, it's jumping around too much. Square's been running pretty nicely. Hasn't had a pause yet. Looks like it's maybe forming a little mini pause here with an inside day yesterday on lower volume. That's healthy. That shows lack of distribution. And they really shouldn't be distributing Square if the market's healthy again. And this is one of the situations where the follow-through day here really gives you some confidence. A lot of investing is about confidence, and it's hard to have that arbitrarily. You don't arbitrarily get confidence unless you're just genetically predisposed to being confident. And I won't say too many people have that predisposition. And a follow-through day gives you a little bit of that confidence where you're like, okay, the market is showing accumulation signs again. And that's good. And so that's what we have here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth day after the follow-through day. No distribution days yet. That's very encouraging. And we'll see what happens today. So maybe next week we'll kind of reset a little bit. Things will calm down. And we'll see what's what, whether we get a nice pullback. And we'll see how the pullback is handled. And I think that's a true test of this market right now is if we get a pullback, when we get a pullback, how that is handled by the market. And then you can be like, okay, maybe this thing actually has some staying power because we haven't seen any staying power on pullbacks. Not so much. We saw a little bit on this one. We talked about sideways action a few days ago. Talked about a little bit of sideways action here. Now we have some follow through, and we'll see what happens on the next drop. Is it in higher volume, lower volume? Do we see major distribution? Do we see strong names hold up? That's important. Do you see, VMware hold up its breakout? VMW is one of the few ones in new highs. Is this going to maintain its breakout level, or is this going to fall back below this 140 line? How's Netflix going to go? Netflix, we talked about it, was looking pretty decent. Lower, looks like they have earnings coming up, so that's going to be difficult to hold through. 117. Yeah, also earnings season is starting. That's going to be a test for the market as well. Nice little gap up today on Netflix. Mini consolidation. Not too bad right there. INSG looks like it's popping back up. INSG's been basing the past couple of days. Don't forget this one, guys. This one we've been talking about for a while, breaking out of this symmetrical triangle. Not forming a little bull flag here. Good volume signature. Looks like none of the closes are towards the lows. That indicates some accumulation. So INSG showing some leadership here. Maybe a time to take a position if it tries to break that trend line right there. So that could be something good to do. This was also this broke out before the follow-through day. This broke out early last year. So you got to keep these very strong stocks in mind. It's also a small stock, $5. And this would qualify possibly for a super stock from Jesse Stein, I think his name is. Okay, so there's Cron up a little bit. And we talked about a little bit about Huya. Oh, that's Foot Locker. Ouya, as I'm supposed to be calling it. Ouya here. Yeah, I mean, looking very good. This is very nice price action. The lows are just getting higher. The highs can't even keep up. It can't even form a proper top. It can't even keep up. So this is looking really good. I don't have a position. Wish I would have bought one the other day. But yeah, today may be a time to get in as well. We'll see. Maybe I'll wait till Monday. I don't have a lot of risk in my portfolio. Feels like I need a little more. At least it did yesterday. Grifols, MJ, Gramacron. Anything really interesting here? Come on, SOI, you're highlighted, but you're not up on my screen. There you go. Looking at SY to get over there. That didn't happen. I can probably delete that one. Boot, PayPal. Twitter. Looks like Twitter's positive or getting there quickly. So we haven't talked a tremendous amount about Twitter. I've definitely mentioned it a few times, though. Rip roaring out of these lows. We kind of mentioned a little bit that this may be a good place to take a position in Twitter on the failed breakdown. There's nothing economically says Twitter has to do anything. It doesn't have to go with the rest of the tech stocks, but definitely double bottoming right there, bouncing back quite nicely. Still range bound up to 36, but definitely recovering about 66% of that drop off that it's had so far. And that's pretty healthy. It looks like yesterday was a pretty elevated candle. Not actually better than a doji close. It closed higher. Started higher, came lower, went higher, closed higher. So that's good. That's good in Twitter. Lots of green days. A little red day right there. A little blip right there. And we'll see how this handles a pullback. But Twitter also looks pretty healthy. I'm going to have to do this every time I move a chart, aren't I? Yep. No. It automatically updates this time axis thing, which is fairly annoying. INSG 2.1%. Are we trying to break that already? That was fast. Not quite. It's got to get up to 529. So it's got another 10 cents to go. What's Team doing? Team is a market leader. Atlassian, we've been discussing these guys ever since the breakout here. They also have earnings coming up on the 17th, same day as what was that? VMware. Very nice tight action the past couple of days. Gorgeous tight action. This doesn't get much better than this. If this thing breaks out, this may be your last chance to enter. It's already slightly extended by about 1%. You only want to get in with about 5% on a stock. So if we do get a pullback of some kind, it's above its 10-day, 50-day, and 200-day moving averages. So this stock is definitely holding up better than a vast majority of the market. All right, market's turning around a little bit this morning. And you see right there down 0.65% almost. We'll see how it handles that. Yesterday was interesting. You can tell it was fairly low volume early on, just by the general volume. Here you had kind of a flurry of candles towards the top. This one, only the first 5-minute candle touches it, and the others are lower. So we kind of we opened on lower-ish volume, and then we kind of moved higher on slightly higher volume. So that's always good. Today we have the open, which is also on lowish volume, and we'll see if we can have a repeat performance of yesterday. I think a repeat performance of yesterday where we close in the green would be great. I think a green close would be fantastic today. Okay, let's see what else IBD has in store for us. Yeah, I'm not mad at the market right now at all. There's an article here on Boeing. Let's take a look at Boeing. Haven't looked at Boeing in quite a while. Let's take a bit of a deeper look. If you guys are Twitterers, there is a gentleman on Twitter you need to follow. I don't think too many people know about this guy, Martyr on the Market. He's an IBD disciple and very successful trader. Puts out lots of good stuff on Twitter, and so he puts out all kinds of stuff. Some other people he follows on Twitter. He's fairly active on Twitter. Has a newsletter, of course. And there was one that I wanted to... Okay, if there was a time during the year when one absolutely must be on top of one's nightly research routine, that time is now. One's attention to detail could mean the difference between being in the better actors and being in the most outstanding ones. He's not really pointing out real names here, but the point is clear. You need to be doing your research here. You can't be lazy at this stage of the game. This is when people start to get more confident in the market, and this is when you will start to see who the true leaders of the market are. And I think that's what he's saying. So the stocks above the 50, 200 day, the stocks with the best fundamentals, stocks that didn't break down as much. Eli Lilly comes to mind there. So let's see if he's got anything else here. MTLS, the vagaries of holding a less liquid name. Average daily volume is 6.4 million total dollars traded. 25 to 30 million is preferred as a minimum. So what he's referring to there is the average daily volume. So you take the price times the average volume, get your average daily dollar volume. Okay, and that what you're looking for there is institutions aren't going to play around with only $6 million a day name. That's a very, very... That'd be like you going out and picking up a penny off the street to these guys, to the institutions. And so he looks at about $25 to $30 daily minimum dollar volume. And what he's showing you is a huge spike down right now. I wonder if I haven't done that on INSG. See what their average daily minimum is. Let's do some math real quick. So average volume is 615,000 or 655,000. I can already tell you times 5, that's not a tremendous amount. 3.2 million, so definitely pretty far off from the minimum volume there, but that's exactly what came to mind. I'm like, I never trade $5 stocks, but when I see a very nice chart pattern, I'm going after it. But INSG only 5 million, about 1/10 of that, so maybe size accordingly for the risk that you're taking on. Maybe raise your stop losses accordingly, and things like that. There we go. So what else does he got? He's got a lot of good stuff. He does post on Twitter quite frequently, and he's a very similar style to mine. Pullback rally sequence and the averages can provide valuable information how the emerging leaders behave in the next pullback, and especially how they act on the next rally following a pullback will be of paramount importance in knowing the legitimacy of this advance. Yeah, so that's exactly what I was talking about. And he went one step further, talking about how they act on the next rally following the pullback. So if they behave well in the pullback, but then the market rallies after that, do they go with the market? Do they go more than the market? If the S&P goes up 1%, do they go up 1.5 to 3 to 5 to 9%? That's obviously more bullish than if they go with the market or languish. Nasdaq up 9 out of the last 10 days. Make sure your entries are at proper buy points in case the market pulls back, as it inevitably will. Absolutely right there. I'm primarily interested in the averages and leading stock groups. Secondarily, I'm interested in breadth and the interest-sensitive segment, not even tertiarily interested in anything else, including sentiment, blah, blah, blah. So those are his priorities right there. I think they're pretty good ones. And if you notice, what he's talking about is how are the stocks behaving. He's not interested in sentiment. He's not interested in anything else. How? Because sentiment indicators can kind of be fudged a little bit. He'd rather interpret the charts. He'd rather interpret the breadth of the market as the sentiment. He'd rather interpret the interest-sensitive segment as, okay, do you like what the Fed's doing right now? Because that's our current issue, is how I think he's taking that. And I think all those are good things. This guy is on point. So this guy's always good there. Oh, this is a new one I haven't seen. Here's an example of a big leader in one bull market that came back to be a big leader in the next bull market. Home Depot. Remember it well because it was one of the first names I bought in '91 after reading Bill's year, the book before. Bill's book is How to Make Money in Stocks. It is in my opinion, it's one of the Bibles of trading. Reminiscence of a stock operator. It probably could be interpreted as the Bible because it's told in story form. But this would be How to Make Money in Stocks would be the textbook on that. So it's actually right there, the green book, How to Make Money in Stocks. I should probably put that up here, to be honest with you, but I thought a lot of crypto people would be more interested in chart patterns but it's up here. Even on the crypto website, I have this book up here because it is fantastic. This How to Make Money in Stocks success story, I love this book. It's a pretty quick read and not a lot of technical stuff in it, but it's about I don't 8 or 13 people on how they use the How to Make Money in Stocks system, the CanSlim system, to become successful, and some of the things they overcame to becoming good traders. It's a great read for your head. Great read for your head. You're like, oh yeah, that's cool. I can see that. And they tell stories about how they lost money, how they struggled, until how they actually became successful. Hey, what's up, Eli? Amazon.uk, really? Trading in the Zone. Well, I don't have that one. I don't know if I even own that one. There's so many trading books out there. I probably should read a little more, but with my kids, I don't really have a lot of time to read anymore. I haven't read. I used to read this book like every. I used to look at it all the time. Used to look at it often, especially going back and referencing certain things. I do more reminiscence now because I don't know. Most of my stuff I think is mental rather than This isn't quite base. This isn't like a basic book. If you jump in not knowing anything about stocks, you will be slightly confused. But if you have at least an initial background in earnings and some of the terms, you'll fare much better. Oh yeah. This is. I think this is the newer one. I'm not there. There's like 3 of them. There's 3 different color books, and they're revised a little bit differently. I think this one has a bunch of charts in the front, which is why I put the green one up here. It has like 100 charts in the front of the book. I think I've got that green one over here. Where the hell is it? Oh, I lent it out. I need to get it back. I actually lent that book out to a friend of mine. And yeah, little bastard's never given it back yet. I'm gonna text him right now, 7:49 in the morning. He's up at work. I need my stock book back. Text him right now before I forget, because I will. Damn, I haven't seen that guy forever. Oh, don't you? I hate it when I when I type someone's name in and then I type the message, but it's up there next to the name. That always sucks. Need that stock book back if you're done with it. All right. Anyway, yeah, good stuff there. But yeah, he's good on Twitter. I've never subscribed to his service, but I'm sure it's gangbusters. So here you go. As previously mentioned, there are exceptions. So yeah, this is a really good thing. Let's just go through this guy's Twitter. It's really good. Interesting, Kevin, but on this issue I have some questions. Should a new bull trend be led by new groups instead of the same, like software, Netflix, Amazon? Volumes are not that impressive. EPS revisions have started to come down, but not the guidance revisions EPS miss. Um, as previously mentioned, there are exceptions. Home Depot had big gains in the 80s, then 90s bear, then big gains in the next bull run. Same with Walmart, Amazon, big leader in the 90s, bottomed a year before '02 and jumped 12-fold in '01 to '03. So what he's referring to there is that Walmart, Amazon, Home Depot all continued their rallies even after the bear market cycle. Um, oh, he still got it. Did you read it? And what he's referring to there is that I think understanding the difference between a cyclical leader and like a true leader. I mean, Home Depot, Walmart, Amazon, you know those names. Amazon will probably still also be a leader in the next cycle too. You never know that. It's hard to tell. You can just go by the technicals on it. But if you're making a list of leaders, you've got, we talked about ISRG a little bit. That's going to be leading until someone else comes over and really kicks their butt in the medical device. But they're so huge. Not sure if Home Depot is still growing the way that it used to, or Walmart. But Walmart coming back up with the e-commerce, they're doing really well. They could do well. Like really, you're talking huge stocks that have mass broad appeal. Um, the leaders that tend to falter are those that are singular in business model, like say Twitter, I guess. Well, Twitter's probably pretty broad market. I'm trying to think of a good example. And INSG poking in our line right there, poking in our line. But what would be an example of maybe Etsy? Etsy could be a good example if I'm following Etsy. Etsy could be an example of one that worked that could not work now. It's a small-ish company, serves a niche. Maybe that niche isn't as deep as once thought. Maybe the FOMO caught up with the stock, which caused the majority of the rally. There's a number of things, but Amazon with obviously broad market appeal, Etsy with less broad market appeal. I think that's the major difference there. Is you're looking for like universal stocks that are in a growth cycle. Walmart, Home Depot, Amazon. If you notice, they all have retail in common essentially. But it doesn't only have to be retail. ISRG has been a leader for a very long time. They are, we talked about them the other day. They're the, come on. ISRG is medical robots essentially. I haven't heard much about them in years, but they'll lead through. They could lead through several market cycles. I don't know if anyone's going to take the torch away from ISRG. Excuse me. Tilray up 23.5%. Yeah. Well, this is the one that went from like 30 to 300 in not that long. Why am I clocking today? Weren't doing this earlier. Hold on a second, guys. I'm going to make sure I know where my kid is. Everyone left. It's like the wife put him on Mario Kart. All right, I don't know what's going on with my data here. Anyway, so Martyr on the market. Follow that guy. He's really good. He's so good he doesn't even have a lot of followers, but he has enough. Definitely more than me. So this market has more in common with a brand new bull market than it does a rally in a bear market due to one, the friendly rate backdrop. Okay. Friendly rate backdrop. Early cycle groups that most often outperform in number one, growth. Home builders, brokers are outperforming with numerous growth setups. At this point in the cycle, an important group chart for the momentum player stocks. What's this? Invesco Dynamic Software. Oh, software ETF. Only marginally lower at B than A. This is holding up much better than NAS S&P, which made materially low. Yeah, that's true. They did make materially lower lows. RS line tells you the whole story. So relative strength in a bull flag right there, while the rest of the market's dropping. So he's talking about Dynamic Software ETF. Okay, wasn't aware of that one. If the market can get going, a few of the software stocks look ready to blast off. I'm sure you know which ones. Yeah, actually, we've been looking. Team would be one of them. Wow, what's going on with this? I swear I got like some deep-rooted virus or something. My CPU is at like 10%, so this is, I don't know what this is. This maybe Ameritrade's API. Woo! Brutal, man. That was brutal. For an impatient American, that was really, really hard. Square down 1%. Tesla, Twitter down 1.6. VMware down 2.5 now. All right, could be getting to good pullback by a territory on VMware. Not really a software name, but yeah, it's a software name. BMW is a software name. What am I talking about? Of course, they're a software name. What are you doing? ATHM down pretty far. Netty's not getting going, but you know, maintaining elevated levels so far. But VMware down this far, it's a little bit intriguing. Maybe it can get back down here slightly more to the 10-day, the 141 level, 141.50. Tesla jumped right as I clicked on it. All right, so Tesla maintaining up here, holding pretty nicely. A few green days in a row there. That's always nice. And Team, another one of those software names, Atlassian, looking really nice, very nice and tight up here. Nice bull flag setup even over the past couple of days. This is very, very healthy price action. Super healthy. Regardless of the bar color. Don't even worry about the bar color. Just look at the minimal spread on the day. I mean, you see here on the breakout, you see the spreads over here. This is about half of those. Half of the breadth of these bars over here is these bars right there. So Yeah, you can almost buy on any pullback here on this one. Like I said, just out of the breakout point, and you're looking at about, yeah, just barely up out of the breakout point. So team's still looking super good. INSG up 4% now. All right, it looks like it's taking out that little line right there. And volume here is already half of average daily volume, guys. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I mean, that's big. It's getting accumulated right here. It's being bought. They are buying this thing. So looking really good here today. No gap up, an organic buy day today. I mean, a little bit of a gap up, but it was up like what, 0.5%? I think we saw up 5% right now. Looking, you can see like this rally. You probably don't think this rally is that much, but it's pretty big. It's 42% coming out of these lows. So, little pause here over this. Looks like this week, and a beautiful potential finish to the week here. And you look at it on the weekly. Looks really nice. It looks like it did a measured move here, taking us up to 6.25. And definitely breaking out here. So if you guys want some INSG, could take an entry position, maybe enter more as it goes over 544. But we could pull back on Friday. Maybe it'll go next week. Who knows? But all in all, I mean, this thing is looking fantastic. Look at that volume. You got to go with the volume. Wish I went heavier on that one. Oh well. Is what it is. All right, what else? So we got a lot of MJ stocks up here today. Actually, MJ is one of them. Didn't notice that. Tilroy, CGC, Cron right up there. Then MJ next at 3.68%. So INSG. Good question. So my streamer just decided to quit. Well, you can't see it, but my OBS software just shows me a black screen. So let me do this. I'm about done anyways, as a matter of fact, but let me put it back up. Give me a second. Oh wow, still shows red. Or still shows I don't know why that happens. It's the first time it's happened on a stream live in a very long time. So let me do not display capture, let me do window capture. Yeah, that's when I selected it. So I can do individual application there. So I can do that, I guess. I can do another window capture, and I can probably put the chat back up there. Now I'm just doing this for fun right now. Chrome, YouTube, pop out. There we go. All right. So this is how you can stitch up your screen with OBS. Right there. So you probably don't need to see a lot of that stuff. You need to see more of that stuff. So, all right, there you go. Anyway, so that's weird. I don't know. It on the display. It goes away. It's kind of weird. Yeah, it's kind of weird. See, I wonder if I. Now I'm just playing. You can't see what I'm doing. I'm looking at OBS while doing that simultaneously. Okay. Yeah, INSG has not reacted to the market correction. Where have you been, Justin? We've been talking about this one since December 3rd when it had a failed breakout and then maintained even tighter, you know. So I won't flat. Yeah, maybe Eli could do it that way. You know, sometimes I try to pull up other windows, so then I'd have to. Yeah, I agree with the safety issue. Trying to keep it real, Justin. Where you been? I know you've been here, at least most days. But yeah, we've been talking about ISG for a while. INS is another one that's been doing really well as well. INS, Cup with Handle, we talked about this one as well since November. But it kind of fell off, and then we brought it back as it came up. I don't have a position in this one. They don't have any options. I didn't partake. But this one also up a tremendous amount, 32%. Both of these doing really well. Market looks like it's coming back a little bit here. But yeah, INSG looking great. Let's go back to MJ, see what the volume's doing on MJ. Had that elevated volume day yesterday, right there. And today with some follow through, man. This is looking good. Look at the volume. It's half hour. Look at the volume on this thing. This is either too much or crazy good. Too much or crazy good. I don't know if there's an in between. We could just stop. We could just come in here and stop. Let's go see on the 5-minute what it looks like. Look at that volume. I mean, just a tremendous amount of volume early in the morning. Did a similar thing yesterday. Tremendous amount of volume. Then it just kind of stopped. Did see a little bit of selling, a little bit of volatility, but yeah, so that's good. Yeah, it's in a follow-up buy zone. It's not in a traditional buy zone. I don't know if I'd go in with a full position on it up here. It's up 41% from the really good breakout point. I mean, as we just looked about right there, of the symmetrical triangle. You know, it's up huge. It's up 40%, but it's I mean, this is a great little consolidation. I like how it looks a lot, and it's going. It's not stopping. They're trying not to rally it super hard. You can just tell they're trying not to rally it, but they're going to have to give in at some point, and this thing will be up like 15%. Maybe not today, but you'll see it up 15% from this level, you know, fairly soonish, and that'll actually put it at the target up here of that symmetrical triangle. So yeah, I wish I would have gotten a little heavier on this one, but deep in a bear market at that time. We didn't have the follow through day when I bought it, and it's a very small name too, but it held up super well. So held up super duper well, and that's the funny thing about the fundamental versus technical argument that I get involved with some people from time to time. Is that we've only been in the bear market 3 months now. What fundamentals have changed of any of these stocks in the past 3 months that would have led you to A, sell them, or B, buy them? None. It's all technical based. Anywho, market rallying here today, coming back to the open right now. And I can't do what I want to do there. Buggy software. Can't zoom in. Guess I'll have to click and drag. So there we go, right back up towards the open. A little bit of a shakeout today. Let's see what that looks like on the daily. Looks really nice. Nothing wrong with these nice tight bars, unless it's preceded. Whoops. Unless it's followed with a big down bar. Unless it's followed with a big wick out of this rising pennant situation. That's what could be wrong with this, just to scare everybody back again. Hold on. All right, so yeah, we still are with kind of a rising pennant, but like I said a few days ago, these types of chart patterns in the stock indexes themselves don't necessarily lead themselves to lots of success. This isn't crypto. This probably isn't gonna just break down, but it definitely possibly could. But follow 3 days so far looks like it's working. We see a lot of setups and good names. We see some breakouts finally starting to work. And we talked about this yesterday. Could we be finally actually out of the bear market? And you got to be looking at setups to buy. Like what's looking good. We just talked about VMware and a pullback. VMware in a pullback is an enticing buy. So you're down about 3.5% from the high. That's a good pullback, which puts you slightly out here on a breakout. Unfortunately, the breakout volume isn't that extensive on VMware. That is a definite negative in this environment. You should have a lot of excitement in the name, and we don't have that in VMware. So I guess that's a negative there. You've got Team here, which is holding up nice and tight. A little bit out of buy range, but this early in a bull market cycle, probably worth it to take a little bit more risk than not. Let's take a look at the breakout volume here. So this is our breakout level. And so there's your breakout day. Very good volume, and it's been maintaining up here ever since. A nice tight action, lower volume. I really like this one. Eli, if you want to get the options thing up and running, I don't know what happened with Ameritrade. And yeah, we're slowly kind of rallying here a little bit. So looking good. I mean, there's a couple names right there. I don't have a lot of breakout names, unfortunately. Not names that are rip roaring higher. Okay, so let's see. Shoot, I gotta go too. Netflix already taken you to the other side of this channel pretty quickly here. Only a couple of weeks to get you from 250 to what's going to be 350 pretty soon. INSG just jumped up. Oh, nice. Yeah, INSG. Come on. Okay, jumped up and yeah, pulled back a little bit. A little bit of distribution there. But yeah, that's looking pretty good. I think I can probably add to this. I should have added when I was talking with you guys about it earlier. That's funny. Not in a good way. INSG. How do I want to handle that? I need to be like 10x larger than that. It's a very, very small position. Square's back up in the positive. Well, I don't know. I'm looking at this stage. I mean, I was looking at a couple things. I didn't want to bother you with it because you didn't seem super enthused in the stock market stuff, but you seem a little more enthused today. I had to jump out with my normal option spreadsheet again, which is fine. Wasn't horrible, reverting back a little bit. That's how I got numbers on this INSG trade. There's another one I was looking at in the same industry group. Oh, EVTC. I haven't looked at this one lately. Okay, it looks like it's pulling back. It's not really running. I was looking at EVTC a little bit. Numbers probably look better today. I was looking at it as it was, I think, up here somewhere. But no, we just needed to look around essentially. I think if we ever base in MJ again, which we will at some point, because we're down so low in a lot of these. You know what I mean? Like Square, we're down so low in Square in a pretty nicely formed descending triangle. Like I said, I've already got a position in this one. It's not up that much though. Gotcha. Yeah, you got to do the work to get the money to trade with, obviously, but you also have to stay apprised. You got to stay apprised with the market at least on a nightly or daily or whatever basis. You got to stay up with it. But Square looking really good. Look at all these peak closes, closing the high, towards the high, towards the high, towards the high, at the high, and now we're at the high right here again today. Square's been looking really good. These closes have been spectacular. Oh, you're hyped up? Oh, that's good. Good. Yeah, I don't get hyped up. I don't get hyped up anymore. Well, that's because I got a kid pulling at my leg every 3 seconds too. I can't get hyped up. My focus has to move. Yeah, good moves here in the MJ sector. That whole sector is going. If you're, so we talked about Tilray actually. Yeah, I thought about buying it, but I didn't look at it a lot. But look, yeah, these volumes are coming right back in here. This is a good. Do I have a specific percentage target where you take profits? Generally, no. Generally, I let price action lead me. True IBD method would lead you, if you're buying native stocks, would lead you to take profits up 20 to 25%. I can't argue with that. But I generally let the stock action lead me getting in and out. Sometimes it's led me to really good profits. Sometimes it hasn't been so great. Got to be honest with you. But look, I think, and Eli can attest to this in the latter stage of the bull market run. If you have a predefined level at where you're taking target or where you're taking profits, and you continually do that, and this can vary per individual. Let's say you notice you get up 15% before things fall apart. Let's say you notice you get up 30% before things start to fall apart. Just depends on what you tend to get into, because each individual trader is different. You should listen to what your account does, and you should adjust appropriately. So if you continually, maybe you buy a little after the breakout because you're a little risk conscious, and then maybe you get a little greedy like everybody tends to do towards the end. And like I said, you're only taking 15%. Maybe just lock in profits at 15%. Maybe you'll do that 6 or 7 times when 1 or 2 will go up 40%. But otherwise, you would have missed out on all of them. It's almost better to have 6 15% profits than 2 40% profits. So it's fairly portfolio specific in how you want to handle that. It is very important. You do want to take profits off of the table. But if I'm like INSG, I mean, again, it's a small position, but I have a tremendous gain in INSG. Technically, it doesn't look done to me. So I don't arbitrarily want to take profit. So I do tend to let the price action guide me into profit taking. Now, in the latter stage of the bull market, Eli definitely outperformed me in terms of that, because I was just kind of letting the market go, and I trade a lot of options primarily than individual stock, and so I would end up losing just due to maybe I paid a little too much premium. There's a number of factors and options that can go into you getting screwed. And then Eli was taking good profits. And he was telling me, oh, I closed this. I'm like, well, what the hell? And I wasn't doing that. So I have thought about revamping that strategy into taking more profits, at least like half off the table. Like if I'm up 40% plus in an option, I should probably take half off the table. Like INSG, I'm up a lot more than 40%. But again, it's a really small position. It's only a few $100. So should I take half off the table? I don't know. It's looking really good. But it could tank tomorrow, and I could come back to you guys tomorrow saying, oh, INSG down 15%. And I don't tell you that I lost half of my profit, because, again, it's an option. If this thing dropped like down here to $5, I guarantee half my profit would just evaporate. So anyway, there's definitely different ways to handle that, but you should have a profit-taking strategy of some kind. Like we talk in the Real Crypto Power Hour a while back about if you're up X%, don't let it get below Y%. Kind of almost like a trailing stop loss for your positions, and I think that's a pretty wise thing to do. So anyways, I'm going to get out of here though, guys. I got to get ready for Real Crypto. Square looking pretty good here. It was negative. It looks like it came back positive. Yep, open negative, came back positive over even highs from a couple of days ago. We talked about INSG. It's looking really good, up 8%, up out of that range we talked about even from the beginning here of the live stream. So beautiful breakout day on INSG. Volume's already at average, above average. So that's really good. They're eating this thing, whatever it's. This is 5G, by the way. This is some 5G technologies, whatever they're doing. So INSG looking really good. Square looking good. VMware maybe on a pullback, but light volume on the breakout. So kind of mixed. I'm not sure if I'd buy Netflix up here, to be honest with you. I would wait for some kind of a base before I'd really jump into Netflix. But some of the MJ names look pretty good if you want to get involved in a very burgeoning sector. I mean, look at that volume coming in the past couple of days. They want MJ. They just have to get it. So, all right, guys. See you later. Monday. See you Monday. Have a good one. Bye-bye.